Before the show starts, drop a comment below with where you're watching from, then sit back, relax, and get ready for some chilling stories. So, I was 19 and honestly just needed a break from everything: college, people, the noise. I booked this cheap hotel about 2 hours from my hometown. It was the kind of place that had good reviews, but still looked like it hadn't been updated since the 90s. Perfect for disappearing for a weekend, I thought. I brought a couple books, some snacks, and of course, I kept my phone close so I could post random stuff on Snapchat. The first night was quiet, at first. Around 11:30 p.m., I started hearing this soft knocking sound. Not on my door, though. It was coming from the room next to mine. It would knock a few times, stop, then start again. I figured it was just the pipes or something. I put on my headphones and let it go. Around 1 a.m., I got a Snapchat notification, but it was from someone I didn't recognize. No Bitmoji, no name, just a gray silhouette and a snap score of 0. The snap, it was a picture of my hotel door. My exact door. I thought maybe it was a glitch, but when I looked closely, I could see the edge of the room number. It was my room. I replied with "Who is this?" and instantly regretted it. No response. 5 minutes later, another snap. This one was of the hallway, directly in front of my room. It was dark, almost no light, but I could tell it was the same floor. Then came another picture. This time, it was from inside my room. I was in it. I was asleep in the bed, blanket pulled up to my chin, lights off. I shot up immediately and turned on every single light. I searched the whole room, under the bed, inside the closet, even behind the curtains. Nothing. The door was locked. Deadbolt too. The only window was shut tight. I started to seriously panic. I called the front desk, trying to sound calm. I asked if anyone had access to the room, maybe housekeeping or maintenance. The guy on the other end, his voice got real quiet and said, "You're the only guest on that floor right now. That room hasn't been booked in weeks." I told him I was hearing things, that I thought someone was messing with me. He promised to come check it out. I waited by the door with a heavy flashlight in my hand, heart pounding. But no one ever came. 30 minutes passed. Then another snap. It was a video this time. Shaky, low light. It showed someone walking through a narrow space, like behind walls. You could see wooden beams and insulation. It ended with them peeking through what looked like a small hole. A hole facing my bed. That's when I grabbed my phone and ran into the bathroom. I locked the door and dialed 911. I whispered everything, shaking so bad I could barely hold the phone. It felt like hours, but it was probably just 10 minutes before I heard banging on the main door. Police. They had to break it open. When they got in, I was still locked in the bathroom, crying and holding the hotel hairdryer like it was a weapon. The search that followed was something out of a nightmare. Behind the mirror in the bedroom, they found a removable panel. Behind that, a narrow passage. Someone had been crawling through it. There were handprints on the inside of the drywall. Candy wrappers. A half-empty water bottle. Someone had been living in the walls. The police never found the guy. The account disappeared hours later. No trace. No way to track it. I haven't stayed in a hotel alone since. And I'll never open a snap from someone I don't know again. I used to think Snapchat was just harmless fun, posting dumb filters, quick vids walking home, maybe a sunset now and then. I wasn't some influencer or anything, just a regular college kid messing around with friends. But if I had known what was coming, I never would have opened that app again. It all started one Tuesday evening. I was walking back from campus like usual, recording a short snap rant about how boring my sociology lecture was. I added a caption, sent it to my streaks, and kept moving. Later that night, I was watching my own story back and something made me pause. In the background, at the far end of the sidewalk, there was this person. Just standing there. Hood up. Not moving. I squinted at the screen. It was probably nothing. Maybe someone else walking home. I didn't think much of it, but the next day I did the same routine, class walk snap. And again, that same shape was there. This time closer. 2 blocks behind me. Not walking. Just standing. That's when I started feeling uneasy. By Thursday, I was fully paranoid. I walked different routes, left campus at weird times, even skipped a class just to throw off whatever this was. But it didn't matter. That night, I got a Snapchat from a random user I didn't recognize. No profile pic, no name, just a blank account. The snap was a photo of me, sitting at my desk, taken from outside my window. I froze. I was on the second floor of my apartment building. There was no balcony, no ledge, just open air. I closed my blinds, locked everything I could, and messaged the account back. "Who the hell are you?" Left on read. Of course. The next day, I told my roommate, but he thought I was overreacting. Said it was probably some messed up prank. I wasn't so sure anymore. That night, another snap. A video this time. It showed the hallway outside my classroom. You could hear the muffled voice of my professor. Then I appeared, walking out, checking my phone. The camera followed me for about 5 seconds before cutting off. This wasn't just someone messing around anymore. This was full-on stalking. I reported the account, blocked it, deleted the app for a few days. But when I reinstalled it to see if things had stopped, I had a new friend request. No name. Same empty profile. Same creepy vibes. I didn't open the snap immediately. I sat there staring at the notification, feeling sick. Then, like an idiot, I tapped it. It was a video of my front door. My actual front door. The camera zoomed in as a hand reached out and knocked, slow and deliberate. 3 times. Then silence. I ran to the door and checked the peephole. No one was there. I looked down the hallway. Empty. I called the cops. They showed up within 10 minutes. While they searched the area, one of the officers found a phone lying behind a bush just below my window. No lock screen. No passcode. Inside, dozens of photos. All of me. Walking. Studying. Sleeping. Some taken from across streets, some from inside campus buildings. There were notes, too, handwritten schedules, class times, bus routes. The phone was taken as evidence, and an investigation started. But they never found who it belonged to. No fingerprints. No ID. That was the last night I ever used Snapchat. I still feel like I'm being watched sometimes. Like there's someone just out of sight. But maybe that's just what happens when someone crawls this deep into your life. I've always been pretty chill about traveling. I mean, I've backpacked alone, stayed in shady hostels, hitched rides when I had to. But this one trip, it changed everything. I was headed to a 3-day music festival in another state. Didn't have a car, and flights were crazy expensive, so I joined this rideshare group on Snapchat that people use for events like this. Pretty active, tons of users, and people seemed legit. That's where I found them. A girl named Jenna posted a story saying she and her boyfriend had 2 empty seats, were leaving Friday morning. I snapped her, and she replied super fast. She seemed friendly, even sent a quick selfie in the car to show they were real. I was sold. We agreed to meet at a public spot just outside the city. When they picked me up, I won't lie, something felt off. Jenna was overly chatty, like fake excited, and her boyfriend, Derek, barely said a word. He just drove, sunglasses on, chewing gum like a damn metronome. Still, I got in. I figured I was overthinking it. For the first hour or so, things were okay. I posted a few snaps, tagged my location, even did one of those road trip vibes videos with a playlist blasting. But then the questions started. Jenna asked where I lived. If I lived alone. If I had a boyfriend. If my parents knew I was traveling. When I said I lived with roommates and didn't have close family nearby, she smiled in this weird way. Like too satisfied. I shrugged it off, tried to change the subject, but Derek finally spoke. He asked if anyone knew I was riding with them. I laughed it off and said, yeah, my entire snap list, and held up my phone like I was joking. But I wasn't. I'd been posting updates since I got in the car. A couple hours in, I noticed something wasn't right. I had pulled up the festival directions on Google Maps and compared it to our route. We were headed way off course, more than an hour east of where we should have been. I asked if they were stopping somewhere or taking a detour, and Jenna just said, "Don't worry about it. Trust us, it's faster this way." Yeah, no. I started posting snaps again, quietly. Just shots of the road signs, my face looking nervous, and one that literally said, "This doesn't feel right." A few friends replied instantly. One even asked if I was joking. Then came the real panic moment. We stopped for gas in the middle of nowhere. Like no buildings around, no one else at the station. I told them I needed to use the restroom and reached for the door. Locked. Child lock on. When I asked Jenna to unlock it, she stared at me and said, "Just wait until we get there." I felt my stomach flip. In the back seat, I pulled up Snap Map and turned on my location. I sent a quick snap to my closest friend, no caption, just my face and the time. She must have seen it, because about 20 minutes later, Jenna's phone started blowing up with notifications. She looked nervous. Derek hit the gas harder. Another 5 minutes passed, and I heard a siren. Red and blue lights filled the car. Derek tried to keep driving, but they boxed us in quick on this tiny road between cornfields. I was shaking as officers pulled open the door, unbuckled me, and told me to stay still. They arrested both of them on the spot. Turns out, they were already on a watch list for suspected trafficking. Jenna had been using Snapchat groups to lure people into shared rides for months. They just hadn't caught them in the act, until now. The police told me later that if my friend hadn't checked my Snap Map and called 911 when she saw how far off I was, it might have ended very differently. So yeah, I still go to festivals. I still love road trips, but I never travel with strangers. And if I ever open Snapchat again, it's just to stay visible, because sometimes visibility is the only thing that'll save you. I've always been a bit of a homebody. After work, I'd go straight to my apartment, grab a beer, and either hop on my PS5 or watch some random horror movie. I lived alone, small place, nothing fancy, but it was mine. Snapchat was kind of my way of feeling social, without actually being around people. I'd post little updates like another night, another pizza, or quick vids of my gaming setup. Chill stuff. Then, out of nowhere, I got a snap from someone I didn't recognize. No name, no Bitmoji, just a black profile. The snap was a video of me, sitting on my couch, eating noodles and watching TV. At first, I was like, okay, did someone screen record my story or something? But then I realized I never posted that angle. The camera was above me, like from the ceiling corner. My stomach dropped. I watched it again and again. The timestamp was from that night. I turned off the lights, shut the blinds, and started checking every inch of my place. I tore through drawers, lifted cushions, but found nothing. I even climbed onto the counter to check the ceiling lights, and that's when I saw it. A tiny black dot inside the base of the pendant lamp over my kitchen table. It was a microcam. I yanked the fixture apart and ripped the thing out. It looked expensive, way too pro to be a prank cam. I threw it in a drawer and just sat in silence. I didn't sleep that night. Next morning, I called the building manager. He swore up and down that no maintenance had been in my unit. I didn't believe him, but I also didn't have proof. I thought maybe it was over. Maybe that was the only one. Then that night, I got another snap. This one was from inside my bathroom. I hadn't even noticed it at first because it was so quick. Just a 5-second clip of me brushing my teeth. The camera was low, like from under the sink cabinet. I completely freaked out. I spent the next 2 days going full conspiracy theorist, unscrewing vent covers, checking behind furniture, inspecting every wall socket and smoke detector. I found 3 more devices. One behind the mirror, one under the coffee table, one inside a lamp in my bedroom. And then I started thinking, if they're seeing me, they might be hearing me too. I shut off everything electronic in the place. No TV, no music, nothing. I whispered into my phone, asking my buddy to come over without telling anyone. I needed out of that apartment fast. But before I left, I set up one of those little indoor security cams I bought from Best Buy. I angled it toward the front door, hit record, and left it running while I stayed at my friend's place for a few nights. On the 3rd night, it caught him. A man in his 50s, gray hoodie, gloves. He opened the door with a key, went straight to my bedroom, pulled something out of his pocket, a new micro camera, and started unscrewing my wall outlet. We took the footage to the cops. Turned out, he used to be the building's janitor. Got fired months ago, but somehow kept a set of master keys. He'd been planting cameras in apartments all over the building and selling the footage online. I moved out immediately. Changed cities. Paid extra for a new place that let me install my own deadbolt. And now, anytime I walk into a room, I look up first. Not because I'm paranoid, because I know what's possible. It was supposed to be a chill weekend. Just me, Chloe, and Emily, 3 college friends, a rented cabin, some wine, and no Wi-Fi. The idea was to disconnect, get away from everything, and maybe take a few cute snaps to post later when we got service again. The cabin was deep in the mountains, like barely marked on Google Maps deep. No cell signal, no nearby neighbors, just trees and silence. At first, it was perfect. We lit a fire, played music from a downloaded playlist, and laughed about how we were off the grid. We took a bunch of snaps and saved them, planning to post them all at once when we got signal on the drive back. The second day, Chloe said she wanted to go for a solo hike. Just a quick trail walk, she said. I'll be back in an hour, she smiled. She took a water bottle and her phone and headed out. She never came back. At first, we weren't worried. Maybe she found a cool view or got distracted taking pics. But after 2 hours, then 3, we started to panic. We walked the trail calling her name, but the woods just swallowed our voices. Then for about 5 minutes, our phones lit up. Signal must have flickered back just enough to let data through. That's when I got the snaps. They were from Chloe's account. The first one was shaky, filming her feet running over dirt and leaves. Then a quick flash of trees whipping past. The next snap had audio, her breathing hard, whispering, I think someone's following me. Another clip. She turned the camera back and there, between 2 trees, was something, or someone, just standing, motionless. My blood went cold. Then came the worst one. She was filming herself, crying, saying, I don't know where I am, everything looks the same. And behind her, over her shoulder, was a figure. Half in shadow. Way too close. The snap stopped after that. Emily and I tried calling her, sending messages, even walking further down the trail. Nothing. We ran back to the cabin and tried calling 911, but the signal was already gone again. That night, we barely slept. Around 2 a.m., we heard footsteps outside. Slow, crunching over leaves and twigs. We peeked through the blinds, but saw nothing. Then my phone buzzed. One new snap from Chloe. It was just a photo. No caption. She was standing alone in the woods, maybe 10 feet from the tree line. Mud on her face, clothes torn, and her eyes blank, lifeless, like she wasn't even there. Then it all went silent. In the morning, we finally got enough signal to call for help. Search and rescue showed up by late afternoon. They searched for hours. No tracks, no phone, no Chloe. A few hours after they left, her Snapchat account was deleted. Gone. All the messages, all the videos, like they never existed. No one's heard from her since. Sometimes, late at night, I still check my saved memories. Those old snaps of us drinking wine, laughing, being stupid. I wonder if she knew something was wrong before she even left the cabin. I've never been back in the woods since. And I never, ever open a snap from someone I don't fully trust. Because I've seen how fast it can all disappear.